We welcome you here to a sunny Sunday afternoon in San Antonio where two highly rated West Regional opponents will do battle here on opening weekend. The visiting Willamette Bearcats come in today's game confident after taking their first game of the year 2-1 against Southwestern here on Friday. Trinity continued their strong form from preseason and overcoming an early deficit to defeat Occidental College 5-2 in front of a terrific crowd later that night. Coach Sam Adelman, now 1-0 in his head coaching career, will make 4 adjustments to his starting lineup from the opening win. That includes Pierluca Carnevale starting in goal. Omar Dominguez Pascasio shifted out to left back today as Abdul Ali partners Max Brenner Hayes in the center of the defense. Mac Vandervelde keeps his position at right back. Ryan Sato, Simon Kidder, and Pierce Galloway make up the midfield. And a front line of Max Brown, Sebastian Ruelas, and Sean Kim will look to penetrate the Trinity back line. And for Coach McGinley, it's only one change from the 11 that started the season strong on Friday, with Tom Whitwell coming into midfield for Jake Simon, earning his first start for Trinity. Juan Carlos Vidales keeps his position in goal after a strong 80 minutes on Friday night, conceding just the one freak goal from a cross. The back four stays the same: Jacob Gallan, Peter Blanc, John Connor Rule, and Jesus Velos. Midfield three of Joseph Curry, Tom Whitwell, who I already mentioned, and Kyle Davis. And leading the line will be Michael Meese with Chin Adji to his right and Fraser Burns to his left, who comes into this game in great form, scoring a terrific goal to open the Trinity account on Friday night. Final huddle for both teams. It'll be Willamette wearing the customary Trinity maroon with gold accents and gold numbers. They'll move from right to left. Trinity wearing their home whites with maroon trim and maroon numbers. They'll move from left to right here in the first half as we get a look at the lineup graphic. See Shin Adji featured front and center on that. He's looking to get off the mark with his first official goal this year. And then Tom Whitwell making his first Trinity start in midfield. Be one to look out for. He's certainly impressed in his time off the bench on Friday, including starting the counterattack that led to the Trinity fourth goal. Two coaches shake hands here just in front of me to the left. One head coach with 30 years of experience in Paul McGinley and a field named after him here in San Antonio, and one playing just his second game. Head coach Sam Adelman, who spent a couple seasons as the assistant at Willamette and prior to that worked with the NWSL side Portland Thorns. And his side certainly showed a lot of character. They went up 2-0 and fended off a late rally from Southwestern to secure the victory. And he talked to me about how his program believes in Ubuntu, which means that the sum is greater than its parts. I am because we are, is the official translation. And each and every Willamette Bearcat's going to have to stand up to be counted today, as their squad is much smaller than Trinity, of course, playing at home. 3 times the amount of substitutes available for Coach McGinley compared to Coach Adelman, who has just 7 options on his bench. Used pretty much everybody on Friday. We are underway here on the Sunday with Trinity kicking us off and Tom Whitwell getting his first touch here early on. Trinity fans will be happy to see John Connor Rule back in the 11 after he had to end his game early on Friday, coming out with an injury. Jacob Gallan, who was the real standout performer, gets his first touch off the head, and here he is coming into the attack now. Looks to spread the play out to the left wing, where Burns had made the run. It was under hit from the Trinity captain, wearing 22 now this year. John Connor Rule makes an intervention, but it comes back for Sean Kim. Galloway into midfield for Sato, who missed a penalty and scored a worldie in a mixed first game of the season for the senior out of Sunnyvale, California. Abdul Ali we saw play as a right back pretty much exclusively in game number 1. Today will be the left center back alongside Max Brenner Hayes. As Galloway drops in to find the ball and sends it over the top looking for Sean Kim. It comes off his head but goes back for Vidales to claim. Burns picks it up from his goalkeeper with room to roam. Brings it across the halfway line. His pass put out for a throw. Roll swings it across to senior center back Peter Blanc, who puts it over the top. Always looking long, the Dutch center back. And this one is awkward for the goalkeeper. Carnevale able to hold it just over the head of Michael Meese. Berner Hayes, no pressure on him, brings it into the center circle. Finds the ball for Simon Kidder. Ali launches it forward. Galan on the back of Max Brown, who holds it up well. Now Sean Kim comes in the center circle. And Tom Whitwell commits his first foul of the game, just late to the tackle there. Ryan Sato will stand over this with his left foot. Max Berner Hayes will be the principal target coming up from the back, standing at 6'4". They do look for him here. The dinked ball comes towards Berner Hayes. Rule got ahead to it, though he didn't know much about where it ended up. Trinity's still looking to make sure it ends up further from goal. It's flicked on by Curry. Meese can't hold it, but he comes back and wins it back for Trinity. Burns can't step past one defender. He has to go back to Rule. He's had a majority of the early touches. The Trinity backline just swinging it about. As Vidalis skips one pass and goes to Galan. Brings it out of the sky with the first touch. He's got Adji ahead of him. Dropped off back to Jacob Galan. Galan with the dinked ball in behind for Curry, who made the run and stayed on side. Curry to the top of the box for Meese. Sends it skyward rather than goalward. That shows you the importance of the distribution of the goalkeeper, though. You saw Vidalis pick out Galan in a good space, as opposed to going through the center back and giving Willamette time to adjust their back line. Ended up creating an opportunity for Meese, who got off to a goal-scoring start in maroon and white on Friday night. Trinity's second goal, he scored from probably just about 6 inches out after a great counterattack led by Michael Pham and Jacob Galan, who both got an assist on the goal. And deservedly so. The two captains doing excellent work there, and that put Trinity in front in what looked like it would be the winning goal before a late consolation came for Occidental College. So the winning goal ends up going to Jack Downs from the penalty spot in the second half. Kim has it taken away by Velos, and Burns now on the ball. Looks for a slip pass for Meese. Easily intercepted by Berner Hayes. Galloway for Ruelas. He gets past Blanc. Ruelas now down the left wing. Enters into the penalty area. Galan comes across and deals with it. In a robust and physical way. It looks like Sean Kim, who stayed down behind the plate. And our center official, Masood Rosti, brings the game to a halt to come across and check on the sophomore midfielder out of Sunnyvale, California. Same high school as Ryan Sato. They would have been teammates for a couple of seasons. And now teammates for at least a couple more under Coach Adelman, wearing a Bearcat uniform. Early 5 minutes. Not much going in terms of chances either way. Both teams just feeling each other out. These are two teams that really try and create through possession. The Trinity also showed us their ability on the counterattack on Friday with a couple of really well-worked goals following Occidental possession. That might be where Trinity feel they can find the opening goal today against Willamette. First change coming into the game, it's Luke Varov. for Sean Kim, who's helped off the field. It's going to be a more attacking role for Varev, who played in the center of the park on Friday night and certainly impressed in his first collegiate game. Ruelas knocks it back to Vidalis, and we're underway once again. Roll down the line for Villos. Villos drops it off for Whitwell. Wants Galan to come and show as an option. Ball takes a bounce on its way to him. Whitwell back from Galan. And the Warwick, England native draws a foul. It's one of a few new English players on the roster this season for Coach McGinley. Now time for Whitwell to pick a pass. Wants to go over the top for Adji, just misses him. Whitwell seeing a lot of the ball compared to the other two in midfield for Trinity. Curry, who's made a couple good runs, and Davis, who's yet to really see much in possession. Ali brings it into midfield. Here's Abdul Ali, gets there ahead of Whitwell. A heavy touch brings it to the feet of J.C. Rule. Into midfield for Burns, who's come inside. Now wide for Villos. No left footers down the left side for Trinity. In fact, no left footers on the field at the moment. Saw Eubank Deputez coming off the bench at left back. Simon start in the first game. There's a couple left-footed options. Good work from the Bearcats, playing out of pressure. But Curry's able to win it back from Galloway. Here's Joe Curry in a pocket of space. Moving from right to left across the goal. Finding Villos. Back to Curry. Might think about a shot here. Instead tries to pick the pass wide. He finds Adji. Shin Adji's got his defender isolated. He gets to the end line. His cross is blocked. And it stays in play. A miscue at the back, and Burns was quickest to pounce. Nice side volley. Looked good for the cameras, but ended up in the arms of Pierluca Cannavale. The clearance was blocked and fell right to the Scotsman. Ali steps past Mies and beats the press for the moment. As Berner Hayes, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Northwest Conference in 2018, showed his dominance in the air on Friday. He's going to look to pick a pass here, going over the top. It's a direct service that is met by the head of Peter Blanc. 4 or 5 consecutive headers, eventually brought to the ground by Joe Curry, who himself is brought to the ground by Mac van der Velde, one of the captains for the Bearcats. Both sides with a Dutch defender in their starting lineup. Trinity's own Peter Blanc heads up from the back to try and put his head on this offering from Fraser Burns. Galan, the only one staying back, matched up with Ruelas. Burns whips it into the area. Berner Hayes gets ahead to it as expected. And Galan, too strong for Ruelas. Would be 1v1 if he could have maintained possession. Adji cuts back onto his left foot. Whitwell gets a foot on it. Galloway thunders it clear. It's maybe awkward for J.C. Rule. He's got to get it right. Ruelas commits a foul on the bouncing ball. And Trinity get the ball rolling quickly. Rule just across the halfway line. Burns picking it up in the left back space. And here's the usual left back, Jesus Villos in center midfield. A similar pass that Whitwell looked for earlier. Same result as it goes behind for a goal kick. It's been a tactical 10 minutes so far. The two teams coming to sorts with how the other wants to play. Here's Ryan Sato, finds some space in midfield, goes wide for Vandervelde. Dropped off for Galloway. Ali around the corner, Galan read it and gets there first. But he's out of possession now if they go quickly, and here is Max Brown, the early substitute. On Friday, the starter today. Ali slices it with his left foot. Dominguez Pascasio is furthest forward for the Bearcats, but he can't keep it in play as it spins out for a Trinity throw. Galan bent over at the waist, catching his breath. Certainly put a real shift in on Friday. A couple lung-bursting runs coming from the right back position led to Trinity goals. Will he have that same amount of energy in the tank just 2 days later? We will see over the course of the 90 minutes today. Blanc with a pinpoint service across for Burns. Burns onto his favored right foot, slips it in behind. Davis was closest to it. The Bearcats clear it. Galan tries to settle it. Ruelas pounces on the loose touch. Brown keeps it in play down into the channel for Sebastian Ruelas, a prolific goal scorer for Chemeketa Community College. 22 goals in 25 games over a couple seasons. Transferred ahead of the 2020 year to Willamette, where he picked up 2 assists in 3 games off the bench. This will be his first start for the Bearcats today. Bernard Hayes into midfield for Kidder. Kidder out wide for Vandervelde, who's not under any pressure. Trinity just dropping off a little bit here. Moving the line of confrontation just to around midfield. Galloway steps past Agee, and there's space down the left wing now for Dominguez Pascasio. His ball in behind is well read by Blanc. And it actually stays in play. No. Linesman's flag goes up as it just went over the line in front of the Willamette bench. Blanc gives space to Max Brown, who whips it towards the back post. Didn't get a touch on the way through and arrived in the hands of Vidales, who instantly springs the Trinity counter with Burns. Whitwell wants to go in behind for Agee. Brown back defending that time. He's momentarily switched with Dominguez Pascasio. And looks like we were misinformed on the starting goalkeeper, so we'll go ahead and switch that. It's Anthony Richard Bassett starting for the 2nd straight game. Apologies for the mistake. Now you know the senior out of Salem, Oregon is in between the sticks. Played 65 minutes and didn't concede a goal against Southwestern. And that will add to a terrific record. He was .17 goals against average over the last 2 seasons, conceding just 1 goal and registering 4 clean sheets in 8 games last year. And it would have been more if he had played 90 minutes. He split time with his sophomore counterpart. Burns wins a free kick. The center defenders go forward, and again, Trinity comfortable with Galan 1v1 at the back. Burns stands over this one. Whips it into a dangerous area, and it takes a flick on the way through. Brenner Hayes puts it behind for a corner. Curry and Burns, the two that head to the corner flag. And they do go short with Joe Curry to the top of the box for Aggie. Into the space for Veloz, who takes the shot. And it's well saved at the back post. Meese claiming it went over the line. It looked like a shot from Veloz. In the end, it was a pinpoint cross to the back post. And the first real chance of the game goes Trinity's way. Richard Bassett now a couple of saves in quick succession as the home team seem to be building their way into this game. Galloway forced back to Richard Bassett. Burner Hayes has time. Ball bounces back to him from Ryan Sato. In his last full season, Sato 6 goals, 7 assists, and he was first team All Northwest Conference. He's created the space here for Vandervelde on the overlap, who puts the ball across, and it's a terrific diving save from Vidalis. Ruelas so close to opening the scoring. Great build-up from the Bearcats, even better save from the senior goalkeeper. Even draws the appreciation from assistant coach Quinn Nottage, a former goalkeeper himself. Pinpoint ball from the Dutch right back Vandervelde, and fully sprawled out to his right was Vidalis. Got enough to push it around the post, but it's still a Willamette corner. Into the danger area, Burner Hayes is close. Last touch off a Trinity defender, and the home team will have to defend once again. Second straight game, Ruelas has had his header denied from close range. I have to say, a good effort on both Friday and today. Met by even better saves. Two hands raised for Ryan Sato. This one's towards the back post. Vidalis doesn't get enough on it. If he looks at that one back in the film room, he might say he should have caught it. Gets away with one. Moments after he bailed his team out with a terrific save. Curry brings it out of the sky. Big tackle from Varev. Puts it out for a throw in front of the Trinity bench, where Coach McGinley is patrolling up and down. One back by Trinity in the corner. Entry ball in for Meese. Leaves it for Fraser Burns, who stepped past one defender, but the second one got the better of the Scottish winger. Here's Shinaji. Drops off for Galan, who's got time to cross. It's a driven ball in, met by Burner Hayes. Curry sends it towards the back post where Burns is waiting, but it's overhit. Both teams now with a great chance to open the scoring. And it's going to be Trinity who make their first substitution in the game as Michael Pham is ready to come in, as well as Philip Dueñez, who checks in for Michael Meese. Not too many touches for the Virginia native, playing as the center forward again today. Transfer from William and Mary. He was the Virginia High School Player of the Year prior, and he talked after Friday's game about refinding the joy that he always longed to play with. And how the new teammates and the new environment at Trinity have really allowed him to do so. As Davis commits a foul just at the halfway line on Ryan Sato. Substitutions now starting to line up. Looks like Hunter Kane also is ready. So it'll be 3 changes now. And I've just seen Jack Downs sent to go warm up. Burner Hayes looks for a direct ball over the top. Bump from Veloz. And last touch from Ruelas, who slams it against the concrete barrier in frustration. So Kane on for Burns. Pham in for Davis. And Duenas in for Meese. So a couple different forwards for Adji to work with. And one of the Trinity captains enters the game for the first time today in midfield. Here's Curry on a darting run past one. Joseph Curry takes a shot on the right foot. It's blocked. It's followed up by Hunter Kane. Got good contact, but again blocked as Duenas recovers possession in the corner. Double team put on by Trinity, and they win the ball up high up the field here. Willamette prepared to answer with a couple subs of their own. It's Trinity building now. Adji back to Whitwell. Whitwell, some curve on the cross. It's claimed by Richard Bassett over the head of his center back.
Tony, thank you for saying something, bud. Come on, buddy, come on.
Good distribution from Richard Bassett. Finds Dominguez Pascasio down the left. He drops it back, and the Bearcats change the point of attack.
Yes, Kidder.
Bernard Hayes composed under pressure. Goes back to his goalkeeper.
Simon, good run.
Ali past Duenas, who will continue his chase, and Galan gets the final touch before it heads out of bounds, and those two Bearcat substitutions enter the game. It's Baronian for Ruelas and Jet Star for Max Brown. Star and Baronian combining for the winning goal on Friday as Star's shot hit the post and then hit Baronian from close range, ending up in the back of the net, ending up in, I guess, what you could consider 3 points, although in the non-conference games it's more about beating those regional opponents and setting yourself up well for when the rankings eventually come out come October time. Duenas brings it out of the sky, holds the defender on his back, drops it off for Michael Pham. Wide for Hunter Kane. So one of the standouts of the first-year group so far. Scored and assisted off the bench on Friday, in addition to 2 goals and an assist in the final exhibition of the season against Carthage the week prior. Whitwell wide for Galan. This time Galan comes inside, gets it back from Joe Curry. Galan takes a heavy touch, and he won't be able to track it down. He does put Bernard Hayes under pressure. Good feet from the center back. Put it up the field. Baronian holds it up. Star brings it down before it heads out of play. And we'll take the water break. Both teams with 1 or 2 good opportunities. Vidalis will probably take the headlines with a flying save to his right. As you see, that was the only shot on goal for the Bearcats, but it was so close to being the opening goal. 5 shots, 2 on target for the home team. 4 corner kicks, notably for Willamette. If they continue to stack those up, they'll like their chances with Max Bernard Hayes in the lineup. I'll take the hydration break with them. You're watching Trinity Men's Soccer on the Tiger Network. Plenty of changes for Trinity coming out. We will get you through those here in a moment. Looks like J.C. Rule partnered now by Brady Johnson, who enters the game for Peter Blanc. Galan keeps his place at right back. Jack Eubank is the left back. Jared Olson makes his season debut in midfield, along with Jack Downs and Michael Pham. Will Powell will come off the right with Hunter Kane on the left. And Philip Joinez leading the line for Trinity. No changes for the Bearcats. But as I mentioned earlier, much lighter on the bench, just 7 available substitutes today. Here's Hunter Kane. Has the speed to get past his man. And it stays in play, still not cleared. It comes to the top of the box for Jack Downs. Ricochet's last off the Sheffield, England native, behind for a goal kick. Be interesting to see the midfield setup for Trinity, who is the furthest back with Whitwell not on the field and Simon not on in his place. Haven't seen much of Jared Olson since the 2019 season. Heavy first touch there for the San Antonio native, and Pham can't recover it. Jet Star making a vertical run ahead of Sato. Just drops it off for Galloway. Patient build-up from the Bearcats. Burner Hayes into midfield. Flick off the back heel of Sato. One back by former All-American Brady Johnston, who, as far as bench options go, has to be up there with some of the best in Division III. 6th year with the program. Native of Nottingham, England. Northampton, England, sorry. Sato for this forward down the right wing. He's got Varev in support. Varev tries to lift it into the box, headed clear. Pham surveying the field to his left, to his right. Comes short for Will Powell. Back to Michael Pham, back to Powell. Downs down the right wing, into the corner for Joinez. It takes the last touch as Abdul Ali came across. It'll be a Bearcat throw. Two number 22s nearly clashing heads there as Galan wins the header from the throw. Olsen drops it back to Pham. And Trinity will swing it around here. Down the line now for Eubank. Good shape on the cross from his left foot. Dominguez Pascasio stoops low to head clear. Trinity immediately pounce and regain possession. Powell on the turn. Past Galloway, but Galloway got a foot around him. Olsen goes to ground and wins it back again for Trinity. Sustained pressure at the moment for the Tigers. Wide for Eubank, who offers just something different than Velos, being a naturally left-footed player. He stretches the width a little bit more than Velos, who prefers to come inside. It's the right winger who's come all the way across, Will Powell, who lays it off to Jack Eubank. Cross headed clear. And roll goes back to Brady Johnston. Johnston in the midfield for Pham. His first touch pops up, and his second touch leaves it short of Jared Olson. He did well to get there. Start to see the effects of so many games being played on Paul McGinley Field this weekend. Here's Jet Star. Looking to stretch the line. Johnston's clearance is into the chest of Jacob Galan. Nobody else in support of Star able to pounce on it. And he's back with Trinity. Eubank down the line. Kane doesn't have the pace to keep that one in play. You see a majority of the crowd camped out in the shade. Certainly a sunny Sunday here in San Antonio. Johnston gets his head on it, but doesn't get any distance behind it as Galloway picks up the loose ball. Pierce Galloway cuts back and puts it wide for Starr. There's numbers in the attack for the Bearcats for the first time since that header came close. That cross, though, for Jet Star, never threatening. It is 91 degrees here, as it is 12:37 local time. Welcome all our viewers from Oregon and the West Coast tuning in to see the Bearcats. Powell couldn't connect that time with Philip Duenas. And there's room to roam for Sato. Sato trying to catch Fidelis off his line. And indeed, that's how Willamette scored the last time they were here. A lofted ball from around half field caught Blake Lieberman off his line. And what ended up being a 1-1 draw with Quentin Vanderlee equalizing from the spot in the second half. That was back in September 2019. So pulling one out of the old playbook. Vidalis maybe looked back at the history between these two teams and made sure not to get caught out this time. Here's Duenas. It's well won back by Jack Downs in midfield. Duenas, couple stutter steps, heads down towards the corner flag. Dropped off for Eubank. Heavy first touch from Jack Eubank. And Duenas there to stop the counter. And it'll be a Willamette throw. Sato's shown an eye for the spectacular already this weekend, not only trying for the 40-plus yard chip on that occasion, but scoring from 25 or so. A wicked whipped shot on the left foot that got the Bearcats off the mark in 2021 on Friday. Pham's pass in between Galan and Powell. Powell retreats to track it down. Here's Pham, caught underneath his feet. It's been a tough outing so far for the Trinity number 10. A couple uncharacteristic loose touches as Rule lifts it past Varev and puts it on the left foot of Jack Eubank. All the time in the world to put the cross in. And it's towards the back post where Powell was waiting. Jack Downs brings it down at the top of the box, but can't get it on frame with his weaker left foot. Indeed, not a ton of height out there for Trinity, although Duenas has shown his ability to score off of crosses in the past. The Bearcats at the moment very comfortable with allowing Jack Eubank to send those services in, with Berner Hayes dominant in the air as he is. Dominguez Piscasio finds Galloway, who turns, finds Varev. Now Berner Hayes brings it closer to the Trinity half. They go back through Galloway. Bearcats playing a style that's really good on the eye, as Trinity does as well. And Dominguez Piscasio signaling he may need a substitution here with 13 minutes to go. Sent the coaches into a quick conference about who should replace him. As it stands, the left back is the furthest forward player in maroon. Still in conversation with the bench. Berner Hayes lifts it over the top. Galan wins the header, and it falls for J.C. Rule with no one around him. Coach McGinley encouraging Downs to stay high as Duenas drop deeper, just to keep the back line honest as Trinity look to build out of possession. Keeper cut off his line here as Brenner Hayes takes it on the chest. Wanted his keeper to claim it, and eventually Richard Bassett understood the intention. And the goalkeeper stayed down after an awkward throw, and we saw him come out of the game on Friday, and I think he's going to have to do the same again, dealing with an injury. It looks like he's re-aggravated it. Pierluca Carnevale immediately getting his gloves on to my left. And what's been a methodical game from both sides so far, each team creating one really good opportunity, and they're taking this opportunity as the goalkeeper's down for some tactical instruction and for some quick hydration. I'll take it with them. I'll be right back when play resumes on the Tiger Network. So 2 changes for the Bearcats as Carnevale will replace the injured Richard Bassett. Looked like maybe just a thigh injury as his leg gave out from under him, attempting to quickly throw it out to a teammate. The other change, Edwin Ortiz into the game for Ryan Sato, moving Varev back into the center of midfield. Although at the moment it looks like Ortiz himself the furthest forward of the midfield 3, and Varev keeping the width on the right wing. Both of them appear to be very versatile players as Ortiz will stay high here in the build-up. Carnevale getting his first touch, the new goalkeeper. Loose pass into midfield is recovered by Jared Olson. Wide now for Powell. Pass just off the mark. Galan down the line for Will Powell. Dropped off for Johnston. 2 English players connecting there and going all the way back to the goalkeeper as John Connor Rule now brings it into the Willamette half. Wide for Eubank, back to Rule. Kane combines with Downs, looks to get it back on the 1-2 exchange, but it's put out by Galloway. Trinity have been able to get forward down the left wing when they want to, yet to capitalize off any crosses or services into the penalty area. Indeed, this time Eubank just goes back to Rule. Olsen picking it up from Johnston. Out to Gallant. Inside for Powell. Wants to get onto his favored left foot if possible. Heavy first touch from Gallant. Seen a few of those. I think the field's starting to play a factor. So we've now had 3 games. This is the 4th of the weekend. Still 3 more to come. A neutral game between Occidental and Southwestern will follow the conclusion of this game. And then after that, tonight we've got a marquee matchup between Trinity Women's Soccer and the Hardin-Simmons University Cowgirls. Trinity Women getting off to a great start. A 3-0 win over McMurray on Friday and are currently holding a national ranking of number 21. Hardin-Simmons receiving votes in that poll. So similar to this one, perhaps even more so, a crucial matchup in the West region that may determine who ends up hosting the NCAA tournament regional pod come November. Olsen receives it from the throw and drops it off for Rule. Combination of fatigue and maybe heat. This afternoon kickoff, this game being played at a much less frenetic pace than we saw in any of the games on Friday. This one just about reaches the feet of Michael Pham. Kane back to Olsen. Wide for Eubank. Downs picks his head up, doesn't see anything he likes. He goes back for Pham. Dueñas has dropped really deep here, and Gallan's made a run beyond the back line. Stayed onside. Powell still battling for control there in the corner, and the clearance is only as far as Pham. Olsen with a sharp turn. Away from Vandervelde. Willamette scrambled it clear there as the Trinity players that converged in the corner. J.C. Rule stops the counterattack. Wouldn't be surprised to see a yellow card come out for the Trinity center back, as there were runners in the attack in maroon and gold. 7.5 minutes remaining in this first half. A couple of Trinity players bent over at the waist, just catching their breath. With the play stopped. I'll leave forward to Galloway, who drops into this left back spot. In possession, Ortiz checks to the ball. He's getting his first real touch here since coming on as a sub. I want to go in behind Will Powell. With Phil Doherty, who's also come on as a sub at left back. Dominguez Pascasio finally getting that break he requested a few minutes ago. Two more changes coming for Trinity to see out the half. As Dueñas put some light pressure on Carnevale. I'll leave forward for Galloway. With Doherty, the left back, ahead of him. Drops it off for Baronian. All the players interchanging in the build-up for the Bearcats. Makes you more difficult to defend, but it makes it a lot easier to counterattack if you give the ball away. Doherty loses out to Gallan. Gallan now leading the charge. He's got Dueñas ahead of him. He works it with the outside of his right foot to Phil Dueñas, the two San Antonio seniors connecting. And here comes Hunter Kane on his left foot. And he drags it just wide. Another example of a great Trinity counterattack. And Hunter Kane nearly continued his scoring streak from an area where he scored on Friday. And the two that led the charge on that counterattack will now get a quick rest. Dueñas and Gallan replaced by Somerville and Gunlickson. Michael Somerville got off to a scoring start on Friday, scoring the 5th Trinity goal, which he worked well in the build-up and then finished with all kinds of power, beating the goalkeeper with ease into the top of the net. Matched his goal total from last season already. And I think because of that, he's getting some meaningful minutes here. Just going to come in and work as hard as we're accustomed to seeing from the Fort Worth, Texas native, and he's forced a mistake here. That's the benefit of having such depth at the striker position. Dueñas actually who stayed out there, and Powell, who's been replaced. So Dueñas shifted out to the right wing. Here's the new right back, Gunlickson. Dueñas in behind for the pass from Downs. Dropped off for Pham. Great whip on the cross. And it coming together between Kane, who gave it his all, and the goalkeeper will have to gather himself as another ball is sent in. Pham has picked up his captain's armband, which fell off. And now there's 3 in the attack. It's 3v3 for the Bearcats. Jet Star on the dribble. Jet Star slips it in behind, gets it back off the deflection. Ortiz for Galloway. And now patience is the word coming from the Bearcats bench. Couldn't immediately capitalize on the counterattack, but now they've got it further up the field, and they look to build. But a loose pass from Ortiz stops any chance of that. Gunlickson keeps it in play towards Dueñez. Controlled by the Bearcats. Great touch off the right foot of Galloway. Varev can't keep the ball. And Pham instructing Johnston just to recycle possession. He needed a quick break to get the armband back on. And to catch his breath as he looks labored at the moment in the center circle. 3 minutes to go. So far 7 shots, 2 on target for Trinity, who've had the better of the chances, although the 1 shot on target for Willamette came close. A header from Ruelas. That was saved spectacularly by Juan Carlos Fidales. It's the only involvement so far from the Trinity goalkeeper, using his hands anyway. Slightly loose pass. Keys Michael Somerville to begin the press. Ali drops it off for Carnevale. Olsen brings it out of the sky, but can't pick out a teammate. Kane immediately on Burner Hayes. And Galloway finds his position at left back. Down the line for Doherty. Is in behind Gullinkson. Johnston, the strong step forward to claim. Finds Hunter Kane. There's 3 in the attack at the moment for Trinity. Not a lot of dynamic movement, though, as Downs drops it off for Pham. And out to Jack Eubank, the left back. Good pass for Kane, but he couldn't string anything together as his pass couldn't find Downs. Is there anything in this final minute and a half for Trinity? Johnston looks to start it, if so. Putting it over the top for Kane to chase. Last touch off Van der Velde. Eubank swings this one in. Somerville and Dueñez both in the area. Never reached either of them. And James, our PA announcer, lets us know there's 1 minute remaining in the first half, from which both coaches will take some positives and some negatives. Johnston finds a ball into the path of Dueñez. Kane returns it for Phil Dueñez. Dueñez onto his favorite right foot, takes the shot, and it's held by Carnevale. A late chance for the Tigers, created by Johnston and Dueñez. See, ultimately didn't get a ton of backlift, and in turn, not a ton of power behind it. Carnevale forced into a good save. He held it. Didn't give up any rebound opportunity. Gunnlaugsson dealing with Jet Star here. And Olsen just sends it clear. And that should do it here in the first half. As it ends with the ball at the feet of Pierce Galloway. An intriguing chess match so far at Paul McGinley Field. We'll see what adjustments the 2 coaching staffs make coming out for the second half in just about 15 minutes. See the final first half statistics on your screen. You're watching Trinity and Willamette on the Tiger Network. So the two teams make their way back out onto the field for the second 45 minutes of action. The first half saw minor tweaks and adjustments and overall a methodical approach from both teams. Interestingly enough, 58% of the possession was with Willamette, the away team, but 77% of the time they had the ball, it was in their own half, as opposed to Trinity, who spent 2/3 of the time attacking in Willamette's half. And before we get underway here in the second half, I want to work in a quick shout out to Grammy Figert, who's celebrating her birthday today, listening out in Longview, Texas. So shout out to Grammy. Happy birthday. Trinity in their final huddle before we get back underway. The lineup for Willamette coming out of the interval, Pierluca Carnevale keeps his place in goal. And for the injured Richard Bassett, it's the same starting back four, Dominguez, Piscasio, Ali, Berner Hayes, and Vandervelde. Midfield three of Sato, Kidder, and Galloway. And front three of Sean Kim, Ruelas, and Edwin Ortiz. I believe the only player not to start the game, who starts the second half for the Bearcats. For Trinity, just the one change from their starting group, and that's Brady Johnston, who keeps his place at the heart of the defense alongside Pieter Blanc. We are back underway here as Mies initiates the Trinity press and gets a deflection. It's fallen here for Joe Curry at the top of the box, lays it across for Michael Mies. And Davis still in here battling with Galloway as Trinity nearly strikes seconds into the second half. The whistle now goes against the Tigers as the linesman's flag was raised on the far side. Perhaps for offside, perhaps for a foul, not sure yet. Either way, the restart taken by Carnevale. Sent into the channel for Ruelas to chase. He was the Bearcat that went the closest to scoring in the first half as his header was saved by Vidales. Working now with Sean Kim in the attack, who's fouled. And it'll be an early set piece for Berner Hayes to attack as he comes up from the back line. The heat really starting to set in here as we approach the mid-90s. Now it'll certainly have an effect here in the second half. It's the first game of 3 played on Paul McGinley Field this afternoon. As Kim whips it in low, don't think that's what he was intending. He's immediately on the case of Chin Adji, who drops it off for Trinity to clear. Curry into the path of Burns. Dominguez Piscasio defends Burns well that time as Veloz went beyond him.
Come on, Willamette, let's go back there. Johnny, you good? Better service, please.
Jesus Veloz takes the throw into the feet of Curry, who flicks it on. Mies tried to hold it up for the on-rushing Davis, but it's out for another Trinity throw. Curry loses out that time to Simon Kidder. He's playing the position indicated by his number 6. He's the defensive midfielder of the 3. Johnston showing his class and his experience as he spreads the play wide for Adji. Mishits the first cross, tries again to low ball in for Davis. Again, blocked out for a throw. Gallant drops the shoulder, gets to the end line, and his cross deflected behind. It'll be a Trinity corner. Second of the game for the Tigers, compared to 2, both in the first half for the Bearcats. It'll be Fraser Burns to take. He's got options to go short. He's got Adji at the top of the box. Puts it into the danger area. Davis gets ahead to it. It's cleared off the line by Ali. Second such clearance for him this weekend as he preserved the 2-1 win over Southwestern off the line on Friday afternoon. If Willamette were looking to come down and bask in the Texas sun, they've certainly got that, as they kicked off at 2 o'clock local time and now noon local time And they'll have a morning matinee matchup tomorrow with Occidental at 10 a.m. Nothing under the lights for the Bearcats on this trip. Davis thought he was fouled by Ortiz. But Trinity's able to win it back. Velos ahead for Davis. Wide for Burns. Again, 3 defenders converge around the Scotsman. He can't keep possession. Time for Burner Hayes. Risky ball into midfield. It's deflected by Burns, who then fouls Simon Kidder. Curry and Meese start the press as Ali launches one into the path of his striker, Ruelas. The number 9 can't hold it up as Johnston got a foot in. Burns back to Whitwell. Blanc given all kinds of time here. Velos comes forward from left back. Burns drew the attention of Dominguez-Pascasio, so now there's space for Velos. Velos, a good ball in for Meese, who headed it back where it came from, but he just missed the near post. Really good build up there, keyed by the long ball from Blanc. Get a look at the cross from Velos. Onto the head of Meese. Not far away, just about a foot or so wide of the goal. Don't think Carnevale would have been able to have that covered. As Meese did everything you're taught to in terms of heading it back across the goal. Just needed to get it on target. This one's in behind for Curry. And a sprawling save from Carnevale keeps it scoreless. Strong couple moments here for Trinity in the attack, but now it looks like the Bearcats will lead a counter charge. Galloway wide for Dominguez-Pascasio. Down the line where there's all kinds of space for Ortiz if he held his run, and he did. Ortiz in behind Velos, a low ball in, is defended by Johnston. And Dominguez-Pascasio takes the throw quickly, gets it back from Ortiz. Trying to turn away from the pressure of Burns. But he can't do so, and Burns is one of throw in as well.
Intensity, boys, intensity!
Curry hasn't been a high volume player playing in midfield so far, but he's made some really good runs. He's been clever when he's got on the ball, and he's one of the ones making their way into the box now as Adji has his defender isolated. Adji onto his stronger right foot. A big save from the right foot of Carnevale, who's called upon once again. And the Trinity barrage continues here in the opening 8 minutes of the half. Whitwell thinks about a shot, cuts past one. Will now take the shot. It's deflected. And that deflection took all the sting out of the effort. The Bearcats able to clear. Velos couldn't bring it down with his first touch, and Ruelas too strong as he tried with the second. And all kinds of space vacated by the Trinity midfield. Ruelas now against Johnston. Ortiz plays it square for Galloway. Back out wide for Seba Ruelas, who's fouled. Johnston overzealous in the challenge. And just on the edge of the area, it'll be a free kick opportunity for Coach Adelman and the Bearcats. Trinity wall starting to form here. It's Davis, Curry, and Velos, not the tallest of barriers for Ryan Sato to navigate here. He's got the threat of Burner Hayes just around the penalty spot, matched up with Whitwell. Big assignment for the first-year midfielder to deal with the 6'4" Max Berner-Hayes. Will Sato go for goal, or might he try to find a teammate? In the end, neither, as he overhits it and wastes the chance.
Next time, look at the top of the box, yeah?
That one well below the level we've seen from the left foot of Ryan Sato so far this weekend. Pinpoint ball from Johnston. Finds space for Veloz. Dominguez Piscasio made an intervention. Trinity advance it up the field. Whitwell, no real options ahead of him. He'll go back to Blanc. Blanc into midfield where Adji has found some space. Adji now driving into the attack. Curry around the corner for Mies, who took a bump from behind, but not enough to send us to the penalty spot. Berner-Hayes doing just enough as Blanc now whips one in, where Burns is at the back post and Mies at the penalty spot. Great shape on the delivery. It's 1v1. Johnston's going to have to deal with this. He's left on an island here with Ruelas. Johnston goes to ground, and it's a beautiful challenge. The art of defending there on full display for Brady Johnston. That's the risk you run if you're Trinity, and the likes of Peter Blanc are the ones sending the service in. The center back had come into the attack, and Johnson was isolated, as I said. Did all he could have hoped for. Came away with the ball and a perfect sliding tackle. Now Mies has it in the attack, wide for Davis, in for Burns, lays it back for Michael Mies at the top of the box. Heavy first touch for the Virginia native. And again, it's Ruelas, the only Bearcat forward, but again, it's Johnston. The bench singing his praises as he finally getting back to health this season. Of course, had a major knee injury the year after he was named an All-American first teamer. He'll be the most experienced player on the field for either team, and he's shown it when needed so far in the second half. It's been Trinity that's been the more threatening side. Ruelas, his goal-scoring record speaks for itself at the NCAA level. He's a threat. As Adji, one of the principal threats for Trinity, lays it off for Galan. Another big save for Carnevale. Trinity committing so many into the attack, and so far Carnevale's been equal to everything they've thrown at him. But Mies is at the back post. A huge right hand from Pierluca Carnevale, who's really showing his quality here in the second half. And whether that was heading in or not, Michael Mies was going to make sure that ended up in the back of the net. Had Carnevale not got a hand on it. Blanc challenges for a header. Can't win it. Gets a foot on it. Puts it out for a Bearcat throw on the far side, and everybody catches their breath. 13 minutes gone. Trinity coming closer and closer. Mies applying the pressure. Carnevale wide for Dominguez Piscasio. Berner-Hayes forward. Pass intercepted by Curry. We've said that a few times. He's done well in the press. It's come for Michael Mies. Doesn't get much behind the shot. And has got his hands on his head. He knows that was a chance. The space opened up for the striker. You can see almost from his body language, he's really disappointed with that effort. Been impressed by Joe Curry, starting the attacks from the press so far in the second half. Blanc with just enough pace to deal with Ruelas going the other way. He's been threatening just with the positions he's taken up and the runs he's made, more so than anything he's done with the ball so far. Here's a good run from Sean Kim, put over the top And now a chance for Ruelas with the ball at his feet, but again, Johnston flying across to block off the number 9. Phil Doherty will enter the game now for Vandervelde. The Dutch senior will take a break here. And the Seattle, Washington native, also in his senior season, takes his place at left back. Adji struggling. Looks like he's going to be replaced. We'll see by who. I don't think the Trinity bench is aware just yet. It's going to be Joines. On to the right wing. Looks like Jake Simon also preparing to come in. And 2 more Bearcats check in as well. Get those for you when they happen. Ruelas holds it up. Drops it off for Sato. Davis got a foot in, put it out for another throw. Here's Sato given space to cross, gets his head up, instead goes for goal. Shot is blocked, and now Davis leads the counter charge. He's got Curry to his right and Meese ahead of him. And now Galan coming forward from right back. We saw this unfold on Friday night. Jacob Galan bursting into the penalty area. He's got his defender on the back foot, but he just runs out of room. And with 30 minutes to go here in the game, both teams making changes. Varev into the game for, it looks like he'll hold off. Baronian in for Ruelas up front. Max Brown in for Galloway. And Varev in for Ortiz. Trinity sub Jake Simon in for Tom Whitwell. And now they prepare a corner coming off the right foot of Fraser Burns. Joe Curry also offers the short option. Velos checks in as well. Not a great shape on the corner from Burns. It's cleared out into touch in front of some of the traveling Willamette fans. We're looking for something to cheer about. So far they've seen their team on the back foot coming out for the second 45. Johnston, plenty of room to come into the attack. Meese holds the defender on his back, lays it off for Kyle Davis. Couldn't wrap his foot around the shot. That's a pattern and a combination that Coach McGinley would like to see more of, with Meese involved in the build-up. The Bearcats go short from the goal kick. And now Carnevale, 10-point ball wide for Doherty. Ali gets it back from Kidder. Now Ali wants to stretch the Tiger back line with the run of Max Brown, but Trinity control it. Meese lays it at the feet of Davis. Curry turns away from Kidder. Turns away from Berner Hayes, and now there's space for Burns. He needs a run beyond him, and it never came. But Curry got in the way and won a corner. Good persistence from the sophomore midfielder out of Episcopal High School here in San Antonio. Burns waves off Velos, the short option, and instead uses Curry. Curry, great shape on the service. It's towards Simon, and it falls at the feet of Ali to clear. And Galan marshaled that situation extremely well. It's Burns again dealing with defenders all over him. They would have seen what he did on Friday night, coming in on his right foot. They've allowed him very little freedom to do the same today. As Dueñez puts one into the box, headed clear, tracked down by Simon. Johnston draws a handball from Varev. Burns once again across to Tate. This is going to be the phase of the game where he can have the biggest impact with the way he's been defended so far. We know he's got quality from the dead ball. And he's got plenty of options in the penalty area right now. Only Galan and Velos have stayed back. Johnston scored 9 goals a couple seasons ago from similar situations. Will be one to aim for. He's going to be the one on the end of it talking to here from the official. And once that's cleared up, Burns will take a couple steps back and will be ready to play again. Raises the left arm. Sends one in. Comes off the thigh of Johnston. Curry tries to get a shot in. It's fallen for Meese, who directs it towards goal. And then eventually there's a foul indicated by Masoud Rasti. I don't know exactly what the infraction was, but amongst the jumble of bodies, he saw something amiss. And the chance is gone for Trinity, at least for the moment. We approach the second half water break here in the next couple minutes. As this one's around the corner for Varev. He's got space. Blanc comes across to try and deal with it. Varev takes the shot. Deflection takes the sting out of it, and that's the first save of the half for Vidalis. Blanc looks for the long ball towards Meese. It's onto his head, laid back for Curry. Curry takes it on the thigh, skips inside Kidder. When Kidder recovered. And now there's 4 runners ahead of Ryan Sato. He goes short for Baronian. And all those runs now feel like a waste for the Bearcats. As Baronian dropped back probably further than he was comfortable and gave the ball away. Got a foot in to disrupt the attack, and now Galan leads the charge down the right wing. Galan into the area, cuts it back. Chance for Dueñez. And that's the closest the Tigers have come. I'll have to get a look at the replay. I don't know if Carnevale got a hand on it or if it was all woodwork. He flicked it up with his first touch and rattled the bar. The top corner was there to be had for Philip Dueñez, still looking for his first goal of the year. And with that, we'll head to the hydration break. Trinity knocking on the door. But it's yet to open up for them. It's still 0-0 between Willamette and Trinity on the Tiger Network. You see the current match stats on your screen, and that really tells the story. Since the halftime interval, Trinity have added 10 shots to their total, 7 of which have been on target, and 5 saves for Carnevale. He's been excellent when called upon. 22 minutes here into the second half. Just 1 shot for Willamette since the break. Only change coming out is Jet Star in for Sean Kim on the left wing for Willamette. Trinity keep their lineup the same. Midfield 3 of Simon, Downs, and Curry. Burns on the left. Duenas on the right, and Meese leading the line. Dropped off for Blanc. Johnston with his head up. Needs to go quickly. Steps past Baronian. Uses the outside of the right foot to find the ball for Veloz, who had ventured forward. And Simon needs to win this one with no one around him, and he does. That one flicked just over his head, and now the counter's on. Veloz tracking back, uses his speed well, as Max Brown was looking to get in behind. And Galan draws the foul. Veloz forward for Burns. In for Simon. Time on the ball for the California native. Downs ahead to Galan. Has to check back for Blanc, who hits another diagonal, but this one only as far as Doherty, who's now moved across to right back. Dominguez Pascasio switching sides with him. The 2 seniors able to play on either side. There's been a lot of versatility on show for the Bearcats as Curry puts that one in for Duenas. Veloz tried to dink it in behind for the run of Meese. He's tracked it down and put it wide for the opposite fullback, Jacob Galan. Duenas dancing on the ball just inside the area. Downs turns, lays it off for Veloz, has a shot himself, it's deflected, it falls for Meese, who chests it down for Curry, but Meese was offside. And he can't quite believe it. Looks like Adji will be good to continue. He's ready to check back into the game. Johnston with a commanding aerial win over Baronian. Had the winning goal in the opener on Friday for Willamette. Downs had the winning goal for Trinity, both of them out there on the field right now. 2 teams looking to improve to 2-0 on the year. A Willamette team that went 8-0 last year, winning every game they played with no conference tournament. They never left the state of Oregon. Trinity going 6-1-1, 1 draw during the regular season, and of course the unfortunate season-ending loss in the conference tournament to the University of St. Thomas, but the Tigers were regular season champs in the SCAC. This year the Bearcats, for whatever reason, only picked to finish 3rd in the Northwest Conference, even despite their exploits last year and not losing too much. They returned the likes of Brenner Hayes and Richard Bassett, 2 key contributing seniors on the defensive end. Richard Bassett, if you're tuning in late, had to leave the game in the first half with an injury. Heard him say his knee is giving him trouble again. He's been replaced by Carnevale, who's certainly not let the level drop in between the sticks. He's been excellent, particularly in the second half. Downs around the corner for Burns, who maybe should have looked to score himself. Instead, went for a teammate. It's out wide now for Galan, who gets it all wrong on the cross. And it'll be comfortable for Carnevale to hold. Carnevale rolls it out for Ali. Gets it back and sends it over the top. That one cannons off the red brick in the stands. And Vidalis is out to get the play back going quickly. Ahead for Velos down the left wing. Gets it back from Burns. Infield for Simon. He's got the lay of the land in the center circle. Drops it off for Blanc. Gallant down the line for Agi, who slips over the ball. Still keeps it away from the first defender. Sato came across, still couldn't deal with it. Laid off for Downs, 20 yards from goal. Step over, and left-footed shot from Jack Downs blocked. But he keeps it alive. Some hard work and industry. Velos into the area for Simon. Couldn't clean up his first touch. And the Bearcats work it clear. Johnston now in a foot race with Brown. One that he won't win, but he forces Brown into the corner. And eventually comes back. The big sliding tackle. Although he stayed down now after the coming together.
In for Trinity, number 32, Hunter Kane. For Willamette, number 7, Pierce Galloway. And number 23, Mac Vandervelde.
Vandervelde into the game for Ali. That'll shift Dominguez-Pascasio in to center back alongside Berner Hayes. Galloway also back in the game for Willamette. He takes the place of Simon Kidder. He played every minute of the game up to this point. An interesting substitution for Trinity is Hunter Kane takes off Joe Curry, and Fraser Burns will get his first look in midfield this season, a position he's been comfortable with in the past, but he started off the left wing here in 2021. So it's flicked on from the throw. Trinity initially slow to react, but they get it clear. And Kane immediately applying pressure, forcing a mistake. Ball arrives at the feet of Fraser Burns. See what he can do now from the center of the park. It's a well-weighted ball in behind for Agi. There's 3 in the attack for Trinity as he looks up and squares it for Hunter Kane. Cleans up his first touch and has his shot blocked. Immediate impact, though, as Burns is dropping deeper. Here he is again, putting it wide for Agi. Tried to force it back to the Scotsman. Trinity continued to go close. Now 21 shots in the game for the home team. A cleaner first touch for Kane. It would have been a big ask on the cutback cross, but if he could have just set himself up for the shot, it definitely would have beat the defender who slid down low to block it. And at the very least, tested Carnevale. Agi called for a foul. Here's Dominguez-Pascasio. This is the position we saw him in all game on Friday. Looks like pretty much every defender is comfortable in any of the spots across the back line, with the exception of Berner Hayes, who just plays every minute as the left center back. A lot of successful teams really build on having that leader at the back. Saw it from Claremont Mudscripts a year ago, 2 years ago now, and they made a run through San Antonio into the third round of the NCAA tournament. Adam Singer, the senior center back, really led that team, both with goals and defensive contributions. Johnston has done that in the past for Trinity in his All-American season. Blanc down here, and looks like he's in real trouble. J.C. Rule immediately sent to get ready. But all the concern right now is with Peter Blanc. And the teams will take a hydration break. We'll get one look at what happened. Looks like an awkward fall, maybe coming together with Baronian. It's really left Peter Blanc in some pain here. So some tactical instruction and a quick break for the two teams, and we'll be right back in just a moment. So number 4 in for number 2 as J.C. Rule replaces Peter Blanc, who was able to walk off under his own power, which is good to see. See the shots piling up for Trinity in the second half. Yet to put anything beyond Pierluca Carnevale. Back underway as Downs drops it off to Johnston. He's playing his most significant minutes in a couple seasons now. He was also a bench option last year, so he worked his way back to fitness. We've seen him at his best on the defensive end this year, and here's a chance to spring the offense as he puts it in behind for Mies. Couldn't quite pluck it out of the sky, and Carnevale was off his line to gather. Johnston backpedaling, able to get ahead on it. Downs battling with Baronian. Sato has it taken away by Jack Downs. Now Hunter Kane looks to go direct for Mies, who split the center backs with his run here. Michael Mies takes the first touch on his head, and the second one goes wide of goal. Berner Hayes and Dominguez Pascasio doing just enough to affect the shot without committing a foul. That's the most vertical we've seen Trinity play, and it nearly paid dividends through Michael Mies. Ball into midfield for Adji, but he can't hold off Galloway. Galloway now with the ball arcing over the top for Brown. Vidales off his line quickly. And he beat the junior forward from Morgan Hill, California to the ball. Sato with a strong defensive effort. Puts it out for a Trinity throw taken by Hunter Kane. Down the line for Downs, but too strong. Kept in play by Max Brown. Another diagonal, this time played by Johnson. Looking for Kane, didn't reach him. Simon. Off for Velos, down the line for Kane. Velos on the overlap. Burns coming underneath. Battling to keep it alive, it arrives at the feet of Downs. Velos has space on the overlap. Jesus Velos, a left-footed ball. Mies was readying himself to try and head that in the back of the net. But now Trinity is really going to have to work back as Galan holds up the counter charge just enough to see the white jerseys get back. And Hunter Kane is going to be the first in the book. He's overzealous there, coming up and trying to make a defensive play. And now Ali will replace Dominguez Pascasio. Here's that coming together for Hunter Kane, who's all kinds of late to the party. Got a text with the wrong start time. See Southwestern and Oxy in the back of your screen warming up. They'll be facing off here on the Tiger Network following the conclusion of this game, which at the moment will not be in 10.5 minutes. We are currently set for an extra overtime period. Whitwell will re-enter for Trinity. Simon will come off. And Edwin Ortiz will replace Ryan Sato as well. Willamette keeping consistent substitution cycling in and out of the game at the moment. Just looking to keep fresh legs on the pitch. Ortiz beaten to it by Rule. Johnston doesn't get much behind the clearance. It arrives at the feet of Max Brown. Turns away from Kane, who now has to be careful on a yellow card. The only one booked so far in today's match. It's a great ball off the right foot of Doherty. And it's sprung the attack now with Vandervelde forward down the left. It's cut back. And the referee's whistle brings an end to the attack. Coach Adelman and myself both a little confused as to what the foul ultimately went for. Either way, Vidales lines that up and sends it down the field. Great ball for Adji. Flicks it over the top of one defender with his first touch. And now there's 3v3. If Trinity go quickly, Meese bursts into the penalty area, but it's strong defending from Galloway. It's a big body in midfield, and he used that extremely well against Meese that time. Whitwell putting pressure on Varev, who gets it back now, bringing it into the Trinity half. Down the line for Max Brown. He's isolated with J.C. Rule. J.C. Rule gets a foot on the ball and then finds Burns in some space. And be lifted in behind pretty much any other player on the field, but Berner Hayes, standing at 6'4", was able to rise high enough to prevent it from getting to Michael Meese. And Adji, first touch, brings him inside, finds Hunter Kane, top of the box. He scored from this range already for Trinity, and he does it again! At long last, Hunter Kane finds the breakthrough. He finds the confidence to shoot from distance, and he finds the top corner. And he's mobbed by his teammates as they come rushing off the bench. At long last, it's taken 23 shots, 9 on target, but finally Trinity opened the scoring on this Sunday afternoon here in San Antonio. If you include the final exhibition of the season in which he scored 2 and assisted 1, now he's got 4 goals and 2 assists in a Trinity uniform, and this was the most spectacular of the bunch. Hunter Kane couldn't contain his excitement when the ball rippled the net. J.C. Rule deals with that. Without putting much distance behind it, it sent skyward, and Berner Hayes had stayed forward. He won the header over Johnston. How will Trinity manage this final 7.5 minute stint? Leading by a goal. Flicked on by Berner Hayes at the near post, kept alive by Baronian. Vandervelde takes the shot, deflected behind for a corner. Looks like the response from the Bearcats is to deploy Berner Hayes further up the field and try and test the aerial ability of the Trinity back line. Two hands raised as Ortiz swings in the service. It's met at the near post by Aggie. Needed more air underneath it from a Bearcat perspective. As Doherty keeps it alive down the left wing, it slipped into the top of the box for Galloway. And a moment of panic for Vidales, who felt the ball sting his palms and then immediately wanted to know where it went. Ended up in between his legs, and he gathered it. Now throwing it out for Veloz to get the Trinity attack going. A second goal would certainly kill off this contest. The goal scorer, Hunter Kane, has found some space. Burns has made a good run. Kane looking to loft it into his path. Burns brings it down, and he wants a penalty for the contact. Referee waves it away. Great ball from Kane, who's showing more and more he is very capable at the collegiate level. The winger out of Katy, Texas, Cinco Ranch High School, same high school as Brady Johnston in the Houston area. I have written on my notes, unafraid to shoot from distance. And I think we've seen that today as Meese now comes into the attack. He's got Kane to his left. He takes it himself, and that'll seal it. Michael Meese, second goal for Trinity, second goal on the day. And all the hard work for Willamette has been undone in the final 10 minutes here on opening weekend. See, Meese knows he's got Kane to his left. Doesn't need him. He slots it into the bottom corner, and Kane instead comes across to celebrate. Two goals and an assist now in 2 games for Michael Meese, who's making the impact that Coach McGinley and Coach Carty hoped he would. As Gunnlaugson replaces Jacob Gallant, and Jack Eubank replaces Jesus Veloz at the opposite fullback position. 5.5 minutes to go. Trinity now in front 2-0. They labored and labored all second half to find the back of the net, and eventually it came. First through Kane, the insurance goal from Michael Meese. Certainly some man management to do now for Coach Adelman. They've got another game tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's a quick turnaround for their final non-conference game of the season. Next up after that, matinee game against Oxy. We'll get to that in a moment as the Bearcats are in the area. But the ball is in the hands of Vidales. The conference opener will be September 18th against Whitworth for Willamette, who will have a point to prove after an unbeaten season only yielded them 3rd in the Northwest Conference preseason polls. Kane challenging Doherty, the senior winning that aerial battle. Johnston fouled by Berner Hayes, who again has stayed forward as the auxiliary center forward. Clock now winding down under 5 minutes. Trinity have scored multiple goals in their 2 preseason games, as well as now the first 2 to open the year. An offense bolstered by last season the transfer signing of Shin Aggie, and this season of Michael Meese to complement what was already here. Fraser Burns, Connor Jones still to come back from injury. And then, of course, now the first-year sensation that is Hunter Kane. There were whispers coming out of the Trinity camp in preseason that Kane was looking really sharp, amongst the best of a rather large first-year class. And I think those have been well justified by his performances here on opening weekend. Johnson heads that one out of play. And Occidental College are making their way now over to Paul McGinley Field now that overtime seems out of the question. It looked nailed on just about 7 minutes ago. And now it'll be a goal kick for Trinity. Vidalis in no rush to take it, of course. Next up for the Tigers, Hardin Simmons coming here to Paul McGinley Field. That'll be an 8 o'clock kickoff on September 10th, Friday night, followed up by another Sunday game, 4 o'clock against the University of Texas Dallas Comets. Still plenty to go in terms of non-conference games before we get SCAC play underway on October 1st versus Centenary College, the current holders of the SCAC title. Sato will have a go from distance. And Vidalis again knocks it down and picks it up once he's challenged. That title that Trinity are looking to win back. 2 years without it for the first time in a very long time. Since the early days of Coach McGinley's 30-year reign at the helm. It's a late surge into the box for Galloway. They look to find a consolation goal, but a combination of J.C. Rule and J.C. Vidalis made sure a 0 stays up on the Willamette side of the scoreboard, at least for now. Still a minute and a half for the Bearcats to threaten. This one sent towards the back post. Bernard Hayes wins it. And admittedly, perhaps his soft foul call against the senior center back. Seemed like the arms were down, but our center official, Masood Rasti, certainly been prone to ending attacks with his whistle today, as he did there.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Now just 1 minute separating Trinity from a 2-0 record. As it stands, it's 2-0 on the scoreboard, and it's number 2-0 who puts it out wide for Burns in the area. Vandervelde ushers it out of play, but Burns, making life difficult, keeps it in. And the Dutch defender sends it down the field, where Bernard Hayes commits a foul. Two center backs coming together there. 20 seconds to go, and Trinity will have one last chance from a free kick to add to their 2-goal haul on this Sunday.
10 seconds.
They go quickly, wide for Eubank.
7, 6,
Swings it in. Meese goes for the spectacular.
2, 1.
Can't find it on that occasion, but it's been a spectacular Sunday. A great opening weekend for Trinity soccer.
Final score was Trinity 2, Willamette 0.
They keep the Bearcats off the board and score 2 of their own in the final 10 minutes of the game to move to 2-0 on the year.
The Tiger men return home next Friday to host Hardin Simmons University at
Goals from Hunter Kane and Michael Meese
a men's game.
are enough for Trinity to put 3 points on their side.
Trinity women.
Put another win in the win column. Next up, Occidental and Southwestern. You see the final stats on your screen. Trinity ultimately very deserving in the end of the victory. It was a well-fought contest, particularly in the first half. Ruelas went the closest for Willamette across the 90 minutes, but Vidalis came up with a huge save when required. Next up for the Bearcats, they'll face off against Occidental College tomorrow at 10 a.m., a chance to put this behind them and immediately get back in the win column. I'll be on the call for that one, and I hope to see you then. For now, my name is Ryan Figert, and it's been a spectacular Sunday for Trinity Soccer. We hope you'll tune in for the women's game later on as they face off against highly rated Hardin Simmons University at 5 o'clock local time. Thank you.